So I kind of turned that on its head by saying housing people can afford to live in. Because I can't tell you what's affordable for you, you can't tell me what's affordable for me. So the Portland Street Response, every community we went in wanted Portland Street Response to be piloted in their community. Because just like us at City Hall, you know we've got a problem on our street and it's severe, and we have not been able to wrap our arms around it. So let me tell you first what Portland Street Response will not do. Portland Street Response will not provide mental health treatment. Portland Street Response will not provide housing for people who need it. Portland Street Response will not intervene in cases where there is a violent act taking place. What Portland Street Response will do is bring water, maybe hot soup, supplies to people who are in crises on our street. And it's basically a triage operation, quite frankly, because that's what we're doing. We're taking care of people where they are, right? We can't say to them, okay, we can get you in this mental health bed, because the reality is we need Salem and the federal government to give us more mental health dollars. That's what we need. We need the mental health drop-in clinic downtown to be renovated and open so that we have real mental health beds downtown Portland for people who need them. So Portland Street Response, the plan is to have this pilot roll out in the spring. We're still working with our labor partners to make sure that we're all on the same page. We're still trying to finalize who that second individual will be in that two-person team. It will start 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. But what I love about this pilot is that Portland State University's houselessness cohort is actually going to be evaluating this process every step of the way. And which means that we can change on a dime in order to make sure that we're best serving the people that we're trying to serve through this program. Again, we will need community help because, of course, one van can't be everywhere. And then I think the other thing that we need to start doing for our community is to remind people why you should or should not call 911. The biggest increase in 911 callers over the last few years have been for unwanted people. And that's shameful on us that we are calling 911 and we're trying to make it sound as dangerous as possible so that we can get a law enforcement response to come out and remove people who, but for being poor, but for being houseless, would not be on the street at all. And so we need to retrain our community that 911 really is a number for emergencies. Emergencies only. That's something we will have to do together. Quite frankly, I think the community has been very, very supportive of this pilot, but I also want to balance the excitement about a new model, because we haven't changed how we do 911 since the late 1800s. And it's really kind of time for us to rethink our first responder system, especially when we realize that it doesn't always work as intended. So I will stop there. I will invite Kyra to come up, and I'll invite Tremaine to come up. And Kyra is the publisher and director of Street Roots. Street Roots vendors were key in helping us connect with houseless people so that we could have real conversations and really be able to engage people in this activity. Tremaine has been vital in helping us really think through how we could put a system in place that actually follow the model of I am here to help figure out what I can do for you in this moment. And so thank you both for being here tonight. I know how long both of your days always are as well. And so we are your team, and we're here to answer questions for you. I see a gentleman in the back. Is there a mic? I think I just rolled about a mic. Okay, there's a mic. There's a gentleman back there with a hat on that because I don't have my glasses on, I can't see what it says.
When you put your hands up, please keep them up too so that we can make sure that we see you.
If I don't get everybody, just paint me and I'll make sure that.
Maybe not like the whole time.
Hi, greetings. I'm William X. Nietzsche. We've spoke before. Me and my mother is Julie Metcalf Kinney. We are in a situation where it is in a situation of the brink of homelessness. And so my question is, how do we prevent people from getting to this place of homelessness? I hear you offering the service of street response, but there's no mechanisms in place to prevent homelessness. So we're trying to fix problems that we need to find mechanisms to prevent homelessness.
Well, with all due respect, there are some mechanisms in place, but clearly not enough money to help all the people who are in need. And so part of the Portland Housing Bond that voters passed a couple of years ago does eviction mitigation, right? And so I call in the Joint Office of Housing Services, asking them what agency to connect to so that they can help. Sometimes what they do, I'm on the Board of Human Solutions, so that's, we provide affordable housing for very low income families in East Portland. And what we do many times is pay an electricity bill, right? Or pay the rent for a month, right? Or get a car fixed, right? I mean, we used to have safety nets in this country, so if one bad thing happened, it didn't put people out on the street. That's gone. We have some resources, but you have to, actually, here's a great number to call. What is the number at the city? Is it 211? 211 is the city information line, right? That actually has a list of resources available. So you can call that number. There's a live body that answers it Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I would start there. I'm sorry, you get that mic so that not just me, but everybody else can hear you.
Yes, this situation is quite different. This is in regards to keeping home ownership. We are the last home on Mississippi Street, and so the resources lines have not been effective. There hasn't been any legal services. In fact, the judicial system itself has been perpetuating this problem, kicking the people out of their homes with unlawful judicial processes.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get into judicial processes, but what I'd be happy to do is, Matt, put your hand up. Give Matt your business card. I'll have someone in my office follow up. But tonight we're really focused on the Portland street response. I know that we have a lot of issues in the city of Portland, and we could be here until midnight just talking about a couple of them. Right. But I want to stay focused on our conversation tonight. But we will definitely reach out. We will follow up with you.
And if you have your hand raised, I'm going to go from the back up to the front, and I'm counting everybody, so just be patient. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Lucas, and I was curious about with this Portland Street Response program, how I see that there's also Cheers and Project Respond on here in the Multnomah County Crisis Line, and I'm curious, after one, how long is the pilot project going to last? Will it be expanded within that process during the pilot project? And then what will the coverage look like to be able to have an appropriate response? Just because I believe with some of the other projects, I might be quoting incorrectly, but like Cheers, I think there's one or two vans that are covering the whole county.
So I can answer all of those questions in one fell swoop. So Cheers, Central City Concern used to run the Cheers van. Central City Concern came to the city a couple of months ago and said, we've been doing this for 30 years, and we want you to know we're not going to do this anymore. Because what we've learned in 30 years is we need more humane ways for people to detox rather than putting them in this tiny cell and letting them just like sleep it off or go through whatever they go through to get back to normal, right? So Portland Police Bureau is now trying to reimagine what resource would replace that. Quite frankly, I think Portland Police should not be the one trying to figure that out. We should have medical people trying to figure that out because it is a medical issue when people are detoxing, whether it's alcohol or drugs. So that's one. Two, the pilot is starting with just one van. It is my hope that midway through the pilot, which will last for 1 full year, midway through the pilot, if resources are available, I'd like to add an additional pilot in another part of town, right? The reason why Lents was such an ideal place to launch this is because of the small geographic area and the interconnectedness with the fire management area here, right? So it just seemed like, and it was a place with limited social service supports. So all those factors came into play as to why Lents would be the ideal. So did I get them all? There was a third one, yeah. Oh yeah, Project Response. So Project Response only shows up if the police show up with them, right? Which is a different model than the model of the Portland Street Response. The Portland Street Response absolutely will not have a law enforcement connection. It may be possible that as it rolls out, police may call Portland Street Response and say, you know, we need your help. We need you to go to this address, right? Or we need you to go to this corner. But we will have no relationship. That's the difference with a Project Response. That's the big difference. And it makes a difference, right? Because for some people, just the uniform and the weapons are enough to freak them out. And
if I could add to that, one of the big differences, because Project Respond was one of the programs they were looking at to make sure we weren't duplicating services. And that's also one of the reasons we haven't fully selected that second partner. One of the things that Project Respond does are the really high acuity level calls. And because they're tied up with those higher level calls, those lower level calls are the ones that are getting missed. And then sometimes they'll be ramped up into unfortunate events. So really we're looking at the subacute, in terms of like less severe mental health crises that Project Respond may not get to because of the higher level. And that's really the big distinction between the two.
I'm going to come back up this way.
Hi. I do have a question, but before I ask my question, I'd just like to say, as a single female who is disabled and has PTSD, I actually kind of resent your comment about people calling 911 for someone coming onto your property, because I've had people high on drugs and mentally ill come onto my property and do, you know, go to the bathroom or dump needles or whatever, and I pay taxes and I have the right to call 911 if I feel threatened, and I resent being told that that's, you know.
Ma'am, I didn't say if someone came on your property that it was inappropriate to call 911. What I said is that if someone is putting up a tent, or if you're uncomfortable with what someone looks like, that is not an appropriate reason to call 911.
Well, you said uncomfortable with someone going on the property. I'm not going to argue, I'm just telling you how I feel.
I said nothing about
so my thing about the street response is my question is, I'm not necessarily opposed to the program. You know, I hope you know that in the past couple of years we've had a lot of homicides and drive-by shootings in Lents, and I totally want the police to be freed up to do their job protecting us and investigating those things.
It's not their job.
My concern is that we have such a lack of places to take people suffering mental illness, and such a lack of, I know they're shutting down the, whatever it's called, the detox thing that was made for alcohol, and everyone's on meth now, and the hospitals are overloaded with people who are in mental health crisis or in drug crisis. So I'm just concerned that we're going to be spending money inappropriately when we should be really concentrating on funding like a long-term solution. I don't want to be spending money on Band-Aids when we should like literally be spending money on a hospital. So it's the appropriate, like, is this the appropriate appropriation of funds? And how are you going to measure the success of this program?
Good evening, I'm Kaya from Street Roots, and one of the reasons why we got involved is we saw how just messed up our first responder system is. I think Commissioner Hardesty was talking about, the frequency of phone calls, I think is what you're addressing. And every 15 minutes, an unwanted person phone call would go into 911, so-called unwanted person. Every 4 minutes, a phone call would go to the police for a non-criminal matter. So in terms of resources being misspent, we were seeing that happen, and actually there'd be a less expensive way to respond than sending police out for matters that actually aren't even within a police officer's purview. Just like all